Hi, I'm James and welcome to my latest review, which is the Battlefront Humvee box set. First issued in 1985, the Humvee replaced the classic Jeep and a number of other vehicles in the US inventory. Currently it's used by over 30 countries. If you're playing Oil War, some of them are quite useful because they include Israel, Egypt, Jordan, Kuwait and Saudi Arabia. If you want to try a US-Mexican war, as per the Harold Coyle book, then they are actually used by the Mexicans as well, so you could have them on both sides. So, looking at the contents of the box, we have 6 plastic Humvees on the sprues in green, as ever the usual hard plastic. They come with a variety of weapon options. You have the tow missile, you have the Mark 19 automatic grenade launcher, you have the M250 caliber machine gun. Now you need to be careful with that one, it's very easy to break the barrels on that. You also have a 7.62 machine gun, or the option not to fit a weapon and fit the Stinger missile crewman. So we've got 5 weapon options for each Humvee. Now the sharp-eyed among you will have noticed that on each sprue there are 2 hatches which are identical when you look at them up close. What that means is you can actually build with a box of 6 12 different weapon fits, which will really maximise what you can do with the vehicles. Now I found that it was very easy to swap the hatches over. You can't really magnetise them because of where they are on the vehicle, and if using the standing figures they get in the way, but they will actually slot in and stay in place fairly easily. So what I've done, as you can see here, is actually put 6 Humvees together with crew and 6 alternative weapon mounts without a crew. It gives me a lot more flexibility. The designation of them is the M966 for the tow carrier and M1025 for the armaments carrier, which is all the other variants. Please don't panic because the vehicles are the same externally, it's only internally are they slightly different. So you can actually get a lot more variety than I first thought when I bought the kit. Next thing we have is the transfer or decal sheet. Now this has plenty of chevrons on it which you can use to mark companies, or can just be used as they were in the first Gulf War as the standard recognition symbol. You'll also notice we've got the vehicle numbers. You don't see these as often on Humvees, but they are quite useful. Always will do as spares if you don't use them. People ask why have we got 3 full sequences up to 30s and then 55 and 66. Well, 66 is usually used for the commander's vehicle and 55 for the executive officer. So the next thing you have is the crew figures. Starting on the top row, on the 2 outer sections, we have 4 Stinger missiles. You'll notice 2 are missing off mine. I've already taken them off for use for ground mounted. You then have 2 pointing figures. Could easily again be used for ground-based figures. They can go with pretty much any of the weapon systems. You then have 3 gunners for the tows and 3 that you can use for either the Mark 19 or the 50 cal. And of course you can always leave crew figures off. So also in the box we have some Team Yankee cards. I put a couple of examples up on here. If you're a Team Yankee player you'll understand what the statistics mean. We've also got, it's worth noting, some more options now with the Humvee in Team Yankee in the new American sourcebook American. This has a lot of the different types of light platoon, seemingly based around the experimental 9th Motorised Division from the 1980s, including the RDF light tank, and Twilight 2000 player, it's what we tend to know as the LAV 75. So you can obviously use Humvees in any game, not just Team Yankee. I use them in Roger Garish's 7 Days to the River Rhine by Great Escape Games. It's worth noting the vehicles were changed from the rulebook. The version statistics I've put up on here are the current ones by the errata. 3 versions: the Humvee tow, the Humvee Sam, which is the Stinger carrier, and then a Humvee used in the recce role. Slightly different to the usual games you'd use it for, you can also use it with Twilight 2000. The Humvee is one of the most common vehicles in the game. If you have one roll on the vehicle chart, then it's a 50-50 chance that the characters will start with a Humvee. So it is a very, very versatile vehicle for that. So before we actually can use the figures in the games, we actually need to buy them. Now, I have put links in the description below to any of the options that I can that are available on Amazon, and I will keep an eye on that. If you do go and purchase any from there, then Amazon give me a small amount of that. It doesn't cost you any extra, and the end result is it helps me buy new and often more obscure vehicles to review on this channel. So one of the options you can buy them in is Ryan's Leathernecks, which is the US Marine Strike Force. Now this works out as very good value for money. There are the 6 Humvees in it, the same as in the standard Humvee box, but you also have 3 M60 A1 or A3 tanks, which when you actually sit and work it out, these come in at a fraction of the price of buying them separately. So it's one of the best deals that you can get, and it's actually where I bought mine from. Now, unfortunately, there is a slight issue with the Humvees that you have here for a Marine Strike Force. When you look at the completed models, like the one on the screen, there's 2 big issues. Because these are the original A0 unarmoured models, they have the big X in the door. Now, unfortunately, that was only used by the Army. The Marines had a different set of doors. So they're actually technically only Army models. Okay, you'd need to be a bit of a treadhead to actually spot that on the gaming table, and I don't think anybody is going to object. But if you're a perfectionist, you might want to be thinking about doing something with that. But also, probably more significant from the modelling perspective, is the fact that they're missing the extended exhausts that were used for deep wading, which is standard on US Marine Corps Humvees. If you want to correct that, you probably could do. I'm not enough of a purist to do that. I'm quite happy to use them as they are. Now, another option is you can buy the American Starter Force. This has just come onto the market. Cost is around £60, which there's an awful lot of plastic in it for what you're paying. You've got 4 M1 improved M1 or M1A1 Abrams. You've got 4 M2 or M3 Bradleys, which I believe can be used as the A0 or the A1 version, 3 M109s, 2 AH64s, and 4 Humvees. So if you're starting out, that might be something you might want to look at rather than buying all the bits individually. Because I've already got a large tank force, I'm not going to be picking that one up. But if you are starting out, as I say, good value for money. So, time for the gratuitous pictures of figures actually on the table being used in a game. You may notice that on a couple of the Humvees I've actually added a few bits of stowage. The cam net is homemade, and the other bits are from the M60s, either the ones in Ryan's Leathernecks or from the Plastic Soldier Company ones, just to give a little bit of individuality to the vehicles. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful. Don't forget to click on the subscribe button if you'd like to see more of these. It'll help the channel grow. And give me your comments below. Tell me what you like, what you don't like, and what you think I ought to be reviewing next. See you all soon for another review.